Hi, everybody. It's me. This is But First Coffee, Susie Oberholtz, and I am Susie Oberholtz, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. I'm doing a little something different tonight. I thought I would try a more conversational style, more check in with my chat a little more often. And as I had said in other lives that I've done, I have a really hard time with that whenever I'm trying to do my normal lives because I'm always trying to make sure that I get those quotes right, get those facts right, get the timelines right, and everything. And so I'm just always really super hypersensitive about making any mistakes on that kind of thing. And, it's not beyond me, I still might. But it just kind of goes along with my newspaper background on checking those facts, checking them twice, kind of like Santa, checking that list, checking it twice. And so, anyway, I thought that a good way to be able to have more of a conversation with you all was to just kind of have a conversation with you all. And so I know that so far it says that I have four watching. Yeah, four watching. Oh gosh, I just knocked it out of where I was trying to be. Hold on just a second, y'all. Yeah. Anyway, oh, there's another chatter. So anyway, we've got four watching, and I hope that the four of you and anybody else that comes in, because we usually have quite a few people come in once I get started good. But I'm really hoping that you all will chat with me, talk to me. Don't just lurk, talk. And, you know, anyway. So I decided that if I was going to just do a talk, that I would just talk about myself because it's the one subject that I don't have to worry about if I mess it up. Because since I don't lie, I don't have to like really, think about what I said. I mean, I might think about how I'm going to word something, but I don't have to think about how I said it in the past because what I said in the past is still the truth unless things change. And so I was thinking about this, and I started thinking about Cricket and her live that she does every night at about 1 a.m. Central Time. And she likes for us to imagine that we're all a bunch of us, and I mean, my goodness, there's 50 or 60, sometimes more of us sitting around. But anyway, she likes for us to imagine that we're sitting around the corner booth at Denny's, right? And we're just all, I don't know, eating or drinking something, whatever, and talking, just talking about whatever is on our minds for the day. And that's not going to be what my normal chats are about, but I would like to toss one in here and there. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Okay. Just want to kind of toss it out there and get to know each other a little bit. And really, if it's a smaller group, then that's fine too, because it makes it easier for us to kind of retain some of the knowledge of, what the people say about each other and everything that, because I want to get to know you. I want to know that when I look up at and see Constance June, that I know a little bit about her. I mean, I don't have to know all your business, but I want to know a little bit about you. And Joel, I want to know about you. I want to know about all of you. I want to know about all of you and more. So as people come in, please let's encourage them to open up and talk about themselves. And you can ask me questions. I mean, pretty much you can ask me anything. I'm pretty good about answering anything, um, like it or not. And so, I'd like to kind of think that we're sitting around my kitchen table and maybe we're having a glass of tea or a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. It's getting kind of late for all that, but you know, I don't know, whatever you want. You can have a glass of wine, whatever you want, water, I don't care. And we're just kind of sitting around and we're talking. And we're gonna pull a crickets channel for one night, okay? And just I don't do the singing, guys. I'm not cricket. I could not hold a candle to that woman. She's something else. But I want to get to know you guys, and so I probably will do some of these and let you get to know me, but mainly because I want to get to know you. And so this is how we're going to be able to do it, I think. Either that or you can email me. I guess I could put that on there. Hold on. Yeah, I'll run that across the bottom. If you don't want to share, you know, but you want me to know a little bit about you, you can always email me at butfirstcoffee_Susie Oberholtz@yahoo.com. Or even if you just want to tell me more than what you think you can tell me in a chat, or if you just want to talk, we're friends, right? That's why I started this channel, is I want to make friends with you guys. So, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? DOA is in cuffs in San Francisco. Guys, why? Oh my goodness. But anyway, so I'm going to flip to my little intro thing and try to gather my thoughts, maybe get a quick drink here, and I'll be right back, and we're gonna get on this. And I want to talk about DOA. That's what I want to talk about. I mean, if y'all see something going on, let's talk about it. Because I made a list of things like that about myself that I can tell you, but I only did that for like filler if we don't have something else to talk about. So what I'm really hoping is that this chat over here will keep me so busy talking about what's in the chat that I don't have time to talk about me. So that's what I want. But anyway, let's do this little intro thing, and then we'll get on it. If I can find it. There we go. And we're back. So anyway, yeah. So just one little thing about me is I am Susie. I'm a wife, a mother, a grandma, and a great grandma. Actually, scratch the great grandma thing. I'm a great Gigi. For us, the Gigi stands for great grandma. And that's how my great grandson knows me. Whenever I tried to get him to call me grandma or to acknowledge me as grandma, he cried every time and would look at his real grandma, my daughter, and act like I was just crazy. But then one day I just said, well, I can be Gigi, and I said, you know, can you can you look at Gigi? Can you talk to Gigi? And he looked over at me and just smiled and has gone on. He's a little over a year old, y'all, and he's adorable. And his name is Kai. And when I get permission, I'll show some pictures of him, but I don't like to show other people's children without permission. So anyway, so I'm going to go to the chat and let's see what we can do there, okay? And let's have some conversation. Buenas noches to Susie. It's a beautiful night in Cuba. I can only imagine, girl. I would love to go to Cuba. I really would. It's one of the places that I would like to go. Constant June is here. My sister Curious George is here. Joel says howdy. And poet Brian Lucas, here we go. He says right now DOA is in cuffs in San Francisco. He was there less than 5 minutes. Yeah. Any idea what the charges are? And what could he have possibly have done in 5 minutes, right? I don't know. Oh Lord. I'm kind of with Constance. If the DOA news was not from Poet, I would have thought it was a troll. I know, because I honestly kind of saw what it was, and I thought, here we go. My mods might get to do something tonight. We're gonna have a troll, right? But then I saw it, and I was like, oh, well, no, it's not a troll. Oh, the call was for someone with a gun. I wonder who made that call. Wonder. Oh, did y'all see the light bulb go off on top of my head with my bright idea? Church of Scientology. Oh, sorry, cult of Scientology. It just chaps my butt to call them a church. I can't stand it. It just makes me so mad. Okay, goody here. Joel, as for me, I'm 70. Wouldn't have guessed that. Retired, spent most of the first part of my life in the newspaper biz. I knew that. Over 25 years in, yep. I've been active in cat rescue for over 26 years. Married 43 years, same gal. Wow, 43 years is a long time and to the same person. Um, that's awesome. I that's that's awesome. It really is. And cat rescue. I'm just finding more and more men that love cats. It there for a long time it seemed like, we were just the crazy cat women kind of thing, like. But now there's a lot of men that really like cats. I've noticed that a lot of men really love little dogs. The smaller the better. So it's funny and cool, right? Yes. Cubana chica, the usual garbage. Yes. Mm. Lori says hi, Susie. Hello from the UK. Hello to the UK. It's late there, right? Yeah. Or, yeah, it'd be kind of early. They did that today to Denver audit too. You're kidding me. I've not watched hardly anything on YouTube today. And well, I mean, after this whole, if you didn't watch the live I did right before this one, I slept 18 hours, y'all. I kind of had like a little, I think, just mental break, like, just, and I don't mean that to sound like that I'm making true mental breaks out to be anything but horrible. Mine was, this, where is my hand? This teeny tiny little thing. But I think I just couldn't take it anymore. I just could not take all the BS, which was also a topic of my last live, and the difference in different types of BS or HS. You'll have to go watch it. But anyway, so now I'm going to have to stay up all night catching up on these videos. Do tell Lori about Denver audit, please. My sister curious. George, I'm a 55-year-old female named Christine. Brother calls me George. How funny. Retired from working 30 years as a medical assistant and supervisor in healthcare. I live near Seattle, married for 34 years. Wow, that is so cool. That really is. Um, I'm 57 and I have a brother too, and I'm not sure what he calls me right now. I'm not really his favorite person, and I don't really, well, I would go into it, but it has a lot more to do with, I think, political stuff than anything. He's very conservative, and I'm pretty liberal. But wow, working 30 years as a medical assistant and supervisor in healthcare, that's amazing. 30 years of doing any kind of one job completely amazes me because I was a waitress, I was a church secretary, I was a writer and everything at one newspaper. I owned my own newspaper. I was a hairstylist. A lot of these jobs I did at the same time, like the whole newspaper thing and the hairstylist thing. I owned a tea room where we served mainly soups and sandwiches and desserts, and of course teas and coffees and all that. I did that while I was also doing hair and had a newspaper because why not? I might have gotten 4 hours of sleep a night, maybe. So for you to have worked 30 years as one profession or even two is amazing to me. and married 34 years. That's amazing too. I've been married twice. I was married to my first husband for 17 years. We married fresh out of high school for me. And I love him to death to this day. He's a good guy. He wasn't the good guy I needed to spend the rest of my life with, but he's married to another woman now, and they seem very well suited. And it makes me be able to absolutely adore him. I think that, I mean, to me, he's family, and so is she. And it wasn't always like that. We got a divorce, y'all, and divorces are not generally happy. But you know, then I married my second husband, Mark, who I'm still married to. We've been married almost 22 years, and I'm not gonna lie, it blows my mind to say that because it literally feels like it ought to be like 10 or something. It's gone by so quick, and I don't know if that's because we've just really, for the most part, been happy. There were times that we weren't. There were times that I wanted to leave. Um, Told him that. Was plotting an exit. But we worked it out and things are great. But it really still seems like 10 years, and I don't know if that's because I'm getting older and time seems to fly when you get older. But I think it's more just because we get along. We don't ever really fight, except for whenever he's mowing the lawn outside my window when I'm doing a live, and that kind of thing, or putting my nice clothes straight out of a hot dryer, not hot, but out of the dryer, wadding them up in a laundry basket, and then sticking more stuff on top of them. Those times, but that's not even really a fight. It's more of I look at him and I do this. Ready? Are you freaking kidding me? That's what I do. That's our fight. And he's like, what? What? I mean, what? mm. Lori says they said that Jay had a rifle. How stupid. How stupid. I mean, first of all, how stupid. Second of all, a rifle. I mean, if Jay was going to be stupid and show up with a gun, I probably shouldn't have said gun, but I'm not monetized yet, so. Anyway, if he was going to show up with a pew pew, he'd probably show up with a hand pew pew, not a long pew pew. But he's not going to show up with one at all, y'all. None of them are. It's just getting ridiculous. And I mean, I don't know how it's been in San Francisco. I've really not watched anything, to be perfectly honest, and I hate that, but I don't know how it's been in San Francisco, but they'll learn real fast. The police will. And then we'll learn real fast about the integrity of the police. And I've got a well, I got more than one, but I've got a very good, very activist minded friend in San Francisco, and I'm going to give him a holler and see what he thinks about the whole situation and what he hears as a resident of the place, what he hears about protesters and what he hears and thinks and everything. I know pretty much what he thinks about Scientology, but I want to talk to him about it. Get kind of, the lay of the land kind of thing. Don Glove says hi, catching up on chickmunk speed. Well, I'll slow down so that my voice will sound a little more normal, right? Oh wow, just gone 3 a.m. Oh my goodness. But I'll probably be up at 3 a.m. here. I generally am. Even if I fall asleep, I usually fall asleep sometime around midnight or 1 o'clock. And wake up again, usually around midnight, and I try to make myself wake up in time to watch crickets show, and then sometimes I fall asleep in the middle of it, which is just so relaxing. It's not that it was boring, because it's not boring. It's very relaxing. I'm very relaxed, and I think that's what she's trying to do. But I'm very relaxed and feel like I'm among friends, and like they wouldn't judge me if they could hear me snoring and see me drooling and all that. Because yes, this is all the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? And I snore. My husband says terribly. And I drool sometimes, not always, but sometimes, especially if I'm very stuffed up in the nose, that's when I snore worse. So, oh yeah, Denver audits on the road in Utah. Yeah. Oh wow. I'm a retired police dispatcher, mother of three, grandmother of two. I have lived in Cuba for over 7 years. Wow. So, did you live in the U.S. before that, or that is amazing? I need to be taking notes, but that is. I'm trying to like. I really want to commit this stuff to memory, but so if I bring stuff up in the future and I don't remember everything, y'all just be patient with me. Remember, I had over a year of weekly chemo, and I'm getting ready to start again in I think 3 weeks. I kind of did a little thing. I was actually supposed to be starting it like in the next, I think, the next week. And I got to thinking about it. And I was paying attention to when I was supposed to start chemo. I was supposed to start it. And then a week later, I'm supposed to go to my oncologist. But the way it was I was supposed to start it. And then a week later, I was going to have my um, scans. My mind went blank, my PET scan, to see if the cancer has grown. And that would kind of determine too on if I was just going to have to do this at home chemo, or if I was going to have to go back in for transfusions, or not transfusions. Ugh, you know what I mean? My brain is not working. But anyway, where they hook it up to this port, I have this. I don't know if you could see it, but there's a knot right here, and it's a port, and they stick a needle in here, and then there's a. You might be able to see it all the way up here, up into my neck, is a tube. And when they stick a needle in here with the chemo, it goes into this and then into an artery, and then it goes throughout my body. And so I about had the word and it went out of my head again. uh, but anyway, so we're going to decide after the scans whether I have to take the pills at home or go back in for it to be done intravenously. That's not the word I'm looking for, but it's close. So what I did was I canceled that appointment with the oncologist, moved it to a couple of days after my scans are done, so that we'll have the results back for the scans. I will have started, so that makes me start chemo a week later than what I was going to, and then so I'll be on it a week later than I was going to, which is not a big deal, and we'll have been on it a week, get my scans, see my oncologist, and she can tell me then whether I'm going to have to stick with the pills or if I'm going to have to come in and do it through my port. I'm hoping, I don't know. I started to say I'm hoping that it's with the pills. This might sound absolutely crazy, but I think I kind of prefer to go in, because I mean, if that's like once a week or once a month or every 2 weeks, however they do it, um, it's just easier, I think. I mean, it's easy to take pills, but not for me because I have to eat a good meal 30 minutes before I take the medicine in the morning. And there's like a handful of pills. And then 30 minutes before I take the medicine in the evening, I have to eat, right? And I have to do this at the same time. So, like if it's at 7 in the morning and 7 in the evening, or 6 and 6 or whatever, but I have to do it. And I need to really, really not screw with that time, you know? And, and that's every day for 6 months. So sometimes chemo is once a week, but most of the time it's like every 3 weeks or every 4 weeks or something. And I don't know, maybe it sounds like lazy, but I just about as soon go over there however often, if it's like once a week or less, and have them hook me up. I guess I'm just used to it. I did it for over a year, so it feels very normal to me now. Yes, Denver Audit is the nicest. He's very kind. I can't imagine. Oh, good. The police were very nice. Good, 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 good. So, Rabbit Flea for SPTV. I'm a 57-year-old single parent of a 36-year-old son, never married, recently laid off or on unemployment, trying to reinvent myself. Oh, and I have a 1.5-year-old black lab. Cora, is that her name? Aw. I love labs. I absolutely love labs. Well, I love dogs, but labs are so sweet. So very sweet. We had I say we had, it was my grandchildren's lab. He was a yellow lab and his name was Max. And he was probably the most perfect dog that ever lived. Maybe even more perfect than Gertie. So you're 57, so am I. You have a son about the same age as my daughter, one of my daughters. So we probably have a lot in common. I don't know. I don't know what you did that you recently got laid off. I don't know what your employment was before that, but I understand the trying to reinvent yourself. I really do. So I'll look forward to getting to know you. Oh, and you live in North Idaho. My sister, Curious George, has 3 kids, daughter married to a Navy man, daughter who's an EMT training for paramedic, son in the Army in Texas, 2 grandkids living with the oldest in Georgia. Wow. I love Georgia. Well, I love Savannah. We go to Savannah every chance we get, and I'm really wanting to go. I've got the itch to go back to Savannah so bad, y'all. We kind of have 3 kids too. We have our youngest daughter is Katie, and then we have Megan, and then we have a son named Lucas, but he's technically he was our foreign exchange student several years ago, but he's just still a big part of our lives, and we just love him, and he's still very, very much in our life. And as far as we're concerned, he's ours. I'm sure as far as his birth parents are concerned, he's theirs, but they don't seem to mind sharing him with us. And he's married to a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful lady, and they have a little baby girl. So I've not got to meet her yet because they live in Germany. And they spend a lot of time in Japan, where her family's from. But we're hoping that once Mark retires, and he says he's retiring at the end of this year, but he also was going to retire at the end of this last year. So we'll see. But I'm hoping, and I'm sure he is too. But anyway, we're hoping to make a trip to Germany and a few other places over there once he retires, but once it's not winter. I'm not really into the winters that they have over there. Rabbit Flea for SPTV says, I tried to be in relationships, but I suck at it. Been single for way too long. I can imagine. I've been married for way too long. I mean, not, you know what I mean? I want to continue to be married for a long, long time, but I'm just saying, if I had to start over in the relationship jungle, I would suck at it because I don't know. I just don't really want to put up with anybody's crap. So I'll put up with Mark's. I already know. Yes, Rabbit, where in Idaho, I was adopted as an infant, and my biological father, who I found a few years back, lives in Wacer, Idaho. I love Idaho. My bio mom was from Orofino. Oh, my nose is itching, y'all. I can't stand it. I've got to scratch it. Yes, I have toilet paper because it's a little more scratchy than my tissue. I have the Puffs Plus, and they're so soft that they don't scratch it. Also, don't make my nose as red as the toilet paper does, and my toilet paper is good toilet paper, y'all. It's Charmin or one of those, but Kelly, BC. Hi, Susie. I'm almost caught up on 1.5 speed as well. Aw. Brian Lucas. I'm 52, was married once for 10 years, never again, no kids. I have 3 dogs and was in the Navy for 12 years. Cool. I get it. I absolutely get it. I tell my husband all the time that, if something were to happen and we broke up, or God forbid something happened to him, never again. And it's nothing for me against, it's certainly not anything against him. It's not even necessarily against marriage. I think marriage is a wonderful thing. It just is not something that I would be wanting to do ever again. I have told my kids I'll be very happy being a little Southern lady. I'll even dress crazier than I already do, and putter around here with my kids and my grandkids and my great grandkids and my dogs and my grand dogs and my cat. Might get more cats. If Mark wasn't here to tell me no, then I might would get more cats. But he thinks he's allergic. That used to be his excuse. He's not allergic. He's never had one reaction, not one. But even this much shows an allergy. He just didn't like them. But we had a cat when we got together that's name was Tiger, and he got to where he really liked Tiger. And now we have a cat named Reese. Her name is Reese Whiskerspoon. I named her after Reese Witherspoon. And he likes her too. He says that he likes her because she acts like a dog. She does kind of, but she also acts like a cat. So I think we're just winning him over to the cat side. Rabbit says, I've been recently looking into the Jehovah Witness stuff. Oddly enough, I was stunned to learn it's considered a cult, even though I'm effed up from my experience in it. Are all religions cults? No, I don't think that all religions are cults. I think that, I mean, I consider myself Christian. I grew up Baptist, Southern Baptist, basically, and I now consider myself Methodist, which mainly just because it seemed like that from what I was, it's my opinion. I thought that I do think that the Methodist is more of a service centered group, and you could drink. It wasn't all of it, but let's just be honest. I went to Wine Fest. My husband and I went to Wine Fest with the preacher. And I bought him a bottle of wine that he liked at Wine Fest as a thank you gift when he performed my daughter's marriage ceremony. So, but anyway, not just that, but I mean, it just seemed like that they were a little more free thinking. They were more okay with the LGBTQ movement and Black Lives Matter, and just a bunch of stuff that I wasn't finding where I was at. But I don't believe all religions are cults, but I do believe that all religions can be a little culty. Like I think that they can, just be a little culty. And I did not realize for a long time that the Jehovah Witness was considered by a lot of people to be a cult. But they are considered that. And now I don't know if they are or not. I've not honestly, and I feel bad about this so I'm honestly just kind of talking off the top of my head. But I've not really ever studied enough about the Jehovah Witness to have much of an opinion, and certainly not on whether or not they're a cult. But I know a lot of people that I've met while in the SPTV community. I've met a lot of people that are former Jehovah Witnesses that really think it's a cult. And with you saying that you're, you know, effed up from your experiences in it, you know, I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot. So I'd be interested. I'd be really interested. If you want to sometime, I'd love to have you come on and we could like talk about it, because I'd like to talk to somebody that, knows something. And I mean, and not even like where you have to be sitting there saying it's a cult, it's a cult. Just talk about your experiences, and I'd like to I like to talk about those kind of things. Like I like to talk about religion, and everybody says, don't talk about religion, don't talk about, politics, don't talk about all this stuff. And I do try to shy away from it for the most part, especially politics, but I will talk about it. But I enjoy talking to people that have different belief systems of all kinds. And religion is a huge belief system. And so I just think it's so interesting to sit and like talk about what your experience was and what your beliefs were or are and what mine were or are. And I don't know, just all that. And Brian Lucas says Chow is awesome. She is, isn't she? Oh, I love her. I I don't know. I didn't watch her show for the longest time when I first heard about her. And sometimes whenever I do this and then I think, how did I not hear about these people before? Because I had watched all this SPTV stuff for a while, but I didn't hear about Chow until she was on one of Reese's shows where she was first trying to get that get the cruise going. And I kind of liked her on there. I mean, she was handling business, so I mean, I was getting a little bit of how she is, but not, you know what I mean? She was doing bits. She's working. She was working then. She was having fun, but she's working. And so I went on and checked into her show at night, and I've been hooked. I've missed very few of them. Now I might not speak up much, but I'm almost always there, just laying there watching it and trying to go to sleep. Or if they're talking about something real salty, sometimes I'm trying to stay away. And then by salty, that could mean some kind of, you know, spilling some tea, or it could mean a margarita. I mean, it could be, from one extreme to the other when you talk about salty with that group. I love them. So, Don Gloves just turned 54, legal guardian of a 16-year-old former journalism student. That I didn't know. Former court clerk, did not know. No, I'd take that back. I did know. I did know that part. Currently a nurse. You kind of sound like me. Let's get a few jobs, right? Absolutely. Now, if you would do all those at once, we'd be the same. Because my mother-in-law, she would be like, do you need another job? Do you really need another job? And I'd be like, no, but guess what? Oh, really? Okay. Dawn's internet connection is being goofy. She's going to reset and be back. North Idaho is one of the best places I've ever lived. Love the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, I've not spent a lot of time in the Pacific Northwest, but that is one place, one area that I definitely want to go. I grew up in California by Bakersfield, and yeah, out on the desert. And gosh, I was trying to think. One of the lives that I was on the other day was I think it was one of Tommy's, and he was talking about their first concert, and everybody had these cool concerts. They'd all been to all these cool concerts for their first concert. My first concert was Buck Owens. Yeah. I think Roy Clark was there too. And they were at the California State Fair. Yeah. But I liked them. I mean, I was excited. Of course, I was a child. I was pretty excited to get off of the ranch that we lived on. My dad was a cowboy, literally spent 12, 14 hours, sometimes more, in the saddle every day. And that was just the life that we had. And then whenever he didn't have to work, what would we do? We'd load up and go to a rodeo and watch him rope and all this stuff in the rodeos. And I met the first guy I ever really thought I was in love with at a rodeo. Got my heart broke because he was like paying me all this attention. And at first I flipped him off because for some reason I thought that was cool, so grown up. But after, a few hours of him like paying all this attention to me and everything, and I started kind of thinking, this is all right. He's a kind of a big deal in the high school that I'm going to. And, so a little crush started forming. And then I saw him and when he was leaving the rodeo, and he was with his girlfriend who was a barrel racer that we were watching at the rodeo, and he neglected to mention that part. So he probably got another finger shot at him, but and I don't know, but we did get to know each other quite well after that. Not like, that well, but we did get to know each other and spend a lot of time together. And I really thought I fell in love, y'all. I don't know, maybe I did, right? But as much as you can at 14. But it's funny, I still know his birthday. And I would love to see a picture of him now, but I haven't been able to find one. I haven't really dug too deep, but I did see his dad one night on TV. He was on like the Antiques Roadshow. And I'm like walking through and I look and I see this guy, and I was like immediately was like, oh my God, And I just like sat down and watched it, and I was just in awe, because like a flash from the past. So crazy. Oh, you're a Canadian who divorced after a 42-year relationship and decided to go to Cuba to improve my Spanish by living with friends here. Fell in love, though I swore I never would again. Oh gosh, my nose. I'm sorry, y'all. I am just this. Ugh, I need to take some allergy medicine. But if I'd done it, you would have like seen me like. You'd have seen this, heard the snoring, and saw the drooling. Let's put it that way. Wow. I cannot imagine going to Cuba to improve my Spanish by living with friends there. I need to do a show with you too. I just need to go down the list. I could do a show with every one of you and be completely happy. So anybody that wants to do a show with me, my email is on here. If you will put me an email that says that you would even be willing to do a show, then let me know, because I'm serious. I want to do fun, happy stuff. And, yeah, I'm going to do, anti-Scientology stuff, of course. But also I would love to do, getting to know some of us that are in that, like getting to know. I mean, you all are here for a reason. You didn't just happen on to this community unless you're interested in taking down Scientology. But, Anyway, so yeah, shoot me an email, y'all, and we will go on and have a visit. Yes, that area is so pretty. Yeah, we never know what life is going to throw at us, do we? Never know. Joel McCoy. I have lived in Colorado all my life, big city until I was in my 40s. Escaped to the country, now out in the sticks, no more city. Aw, I have a friend that lives in, pretty sure, and I'll probably be wrong. I'm pretty sure. I'll have to check with him, but I think he lives in Denver. And he went to school with me in California. We went to a high school that's in Delano. And he actually worked at a newspaper there in, I think, in Denver, or it may have been a smaller town around there, but in that area. Um, he did the printing. He's a printer. I think he still does it. Because I thought it was so odd, that we went to high school together and lost touch for many years. And then we were both in the newspaper business. I don't know. It just seems like a random business to be in. Ugh, they're letting DOA go finally, almost an hour in cuffs. Oh, it just makes me so mad. I'm gonna go watch that when we get off of here. I'm gonna go watch that. Did I ramble too much? No, you do not ramble too much. You talk all you want. And I would love to do a show with you. You know that. So that little email address up there is passing by on my under my face. You'll be with me through my journey. Thank you. It's been 13 years. Now, to be fair, I found out I had cancer, I had surgery, a whole bunch of stuff. I did a whole show on my timeline. But, and I'll gladly answer questions anytime, but I'm just not going to repeat the whole timeline because it was a whole show. But I found out, had the surgeries, blah, blah, blah. Didn't have to have chemo or anything. A year later, found it again, a different kind of cancer. More surgery, had to have chemo, radiation, blah, blah, blah. So about 10 months or so, well, yeah, about 10 or 11 months of treatments. And then it was 10 years. And here we go again. And I found out literally, I think, I usually know the exact number of days, but it was less than 2 weeks after my mom died that I had cancer again. Yeah, didn't notice any rambling. Yes, I hate taking pills too. For one thing, I choke on them if they're not pretty small, and I gotta look at these pills. And I gotta take like 5 or something, 7. I don't remember. I'll have to read that again. In the morning and then some more in the evening. And I'd just as soon them hook me up to a machine and pump that crap into me. It takes one day. I mean, well, a few hours. And that I'd rather do that than take all those pills. They make me sick at my stomach. Just pills in general. If I take Tylenol, I feel sick at my stomach, and that's 2 extra strength Tylenol. If I take ibuprofen, just what it's called for, not, some crazy amount, it makes me feel sick at my stomach. And these pills say right on the deal that they're going to make me feel sick at my stomach. So if they're warning me already about it, I mean, Tylenol doesn't warn me about it. Neither does ibuprofen or vitamins, all that kind of stuff doesn't warn me about it, but this does. And so I'm already like, great. Just great. Something else to make me feel sick at my stomach and have to take more pills to get rid of the sick at my stomach. So Rabbit says, I eventually want to do a van life nomad existence. I've never been a part of the land nor living an intentional existence. That's my dream. Kind of started it with an old minivan purchase. Cool. That's cool. I have some, well, they're not really my friends. Something. My daughter has friends that they've done that whole thing for years and they're great at it. And I don't know. The thing that would get me was I need a bathroom. I need a bathroom, y'all. And a toilet in a van, that's not really going to make me very comfortable. But if you can get past that part, I think it'd be great. I really do. But, I mean, I have Crohn's and I don't have a gallbladder. And I I have to poop a lot, y'all. If I even think about eating, I might as well be thinking about where the toilet's at because as soon as I'm done eating, sometimes before I'm done eating, I've got to run to the bathroom. I know that's, TMI. But that is a big reason why I would not want to do the van life thing because other than that, I think I could do it. Literally other than the bathroom thing. Especially if I had a pretty good sized van. Like maybe I would do a bus life. Because I see people, they fix up those buses and they travel all over the country, or a motor home life, but something with a bathroom. So, but other than that, and if you start doing this, I want to see pictures. I want to see pictures when you start redoing it. I want to see pictures. And I think that you need to be doing a channel that is dedicated to that, the building of your van, the traveling in your van. I would watch it. I'd be your first subscriber that goes on there. Oh, and by the way, before I forget it, any of you that have channels, if this, I think I don't know if there's any of my mods in here. Yeah, I see one. Well, Rabbit is one. But anyway, so seriously, mods, put up anybody that has a channel's link to their channel. I encourage that with every single one of my videos. It does not bother me if you talk about your channel. If you get to annoying me, I'll say, hey, back up a little bit, but you're not going to. But after the live is over, come back and in the comments, just leave some kind of a message. You can put your link in it if you want, but you can say, hey, click my picture and go sign up, go sub to my channel. And we will. And even if you're not really doing content yet, go ahead and do it because that way we're already there and you kind of get a little jump start for whenever you do start putting in content. If you intend to put content at some time, y'all do that, please. And I will. I check it all the time and I go sub to people. You wouldn't believe how many people I'm sub to. And I don't get a chance to watch all their stuff, but I watch some of all their stuff, like I don't get to watch everything everybody puts out is what I'm saying, but I watch something that everybody puts out. So I try. Dawn Gloves hates to take pills too. I've worked for a car dealership for a time, followed Grant Cardone's methods. That ended, thankfully. Oh boy, I was about to say no. The narcissistic leader saw me as a threat and targeted me. I don't doubt it. I love Savannah too. They are just north of the Florida line. They are hoping to move back here to the Seattle area. Grammy wants her babies back. Oh, I can't imagine. In the daytime, sometimes when I'm sitting here doing lives, you can see another house right outside not too far outside this window. Oh, and so dry. I've taken so much allergy medicine the last few days. But anyway, that's our oldest daughter lives there. And they have a total of 5 kids. 2's hers, 2's his, 1's theirs. One of his, which is hers and, ours, but one of his original kids now has a child, which lives about, 7 or 8 miles west. of me. Our other daughter lives, well, it's pointing the wrong way, but would be the, the way that I'm pointing is that way, but that would be east is where I'm pointing. And she lives that way on the same property. And she has two of my granddaughters. So I now have all of my grandkids right here. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm loving life right now. I wish they'd all been here whenever I was having chemo. The ones next door were here, but I wish that. Well, I won't say that. I don't wish that the others had been here. They were having a good life. It's just that they've moved out here now, so they were having a good life where they were, and they're having a good life where they are now. So, oh, oh, that's sweet. You're wonderful. I want everyone to follow you. I want everybody to follow me too, but I want to get to know all of the ones that follow me. Y'all telling stories. Yep. We have 5 dogs. 4 are rescues. Our oldest, Sombra, sings to specific singers and specific songs. George Michael, an example, George Michael. The neighbors love it, I bet. Oh, we had a dog years ago. Her name was Lovey. She was a sweetheart. She was a rescue. But she would ride with us in the car, and she was a big dog. And anyway, she would sing to the radio, but only with the females. She never sang a song with the males, only the females. And if there was a duet, she would sing the female part and not the male part. I don't know. Weird. But it was constant. Susan P is 62, married 39 years, adopted 2 boys at 3 and 5. Oh, they are now 28 and 31, have 1 granddaughter, and my oldest son is engaged to a girl with 4 kids, so 5 grandkids. I'm retired and loving it. Oh, it sounds like you have a wonderful life too. And I can't wait to get to know more about this. That is awesome. Mark and I had talked about adopting, and we didn't ever do it, but we talked about it. We we did in vitro to try to have a child of our own, and I got pregnant, but we lost the pregnancy. It was twins, and we lost the pregnancy, and so we were going to talk about adoption. Well, we were talking about adoption, but we were looking into it pretty seriously. And then I got cancer, and all that. And so we just kind of gave up on that. And then we started having grandkids and everything, but because we married a little later, and so you know, but I always wish that we had adopted. I think it's such a great thing, and like we even talked about um, all kinds of whether we would want a baby or if we wanted an older child, and I think we kind of got to the point to where we didn't really want a baby. I mean, we would have taken one, but we were kind of hoping for one that was a little bit older, and still that we would have time to raise, but that you know just a little older, because we knew that there was a lot of young couples out there that wanted babies, and we kind of felt like they would be better, for babies. But I don't know. It was just our thought process. So to hear that you adopted two, that is, were they already siblings, or did you adopt two completely unrelated children? Either way, it's wonderful. I'm just, curious. Susan P lives in Arkansas, about 40 minutes from Poet. That would be cool, wouldn't it? You could visit. Y'all aren't that far from me, because, I mean, I live in Oklahoma. I'm west of Tulsa. It's a little town. Well, we don't live in town, but we live near a little town called Drumright. So if you look on a map, you can figure out where I'm at. And if y'all are ever in Oklahoma, anywhere close to me, let me know because I will come see you. We like to go to Arkansas, but we don't go as often as we used to. But we used to go to Eureka Springs a lot. We got married there. In fact, we ran away and got married. We eloped. My parents and my daughters knew that we were going and what we were doing, and we sent his parents a card that told them what we were doing. But there's a little gnat or something. But they didn't get that till probably a couple hours after we had gotten married. So, which was kind of the plan. I mean, they were for the wedding or for the marriage, but we thought it was funny. Just kind of thought it was funny to run off like a couple kids. And we definitely weren't kids. Not sure if anyone is interested, but there's a podcast called A Little Bit Culty. Oh, yeah. And they talk about a bunch of different things culty. Cool. Yeah, I definitely am going to have to look into that. Now you're driving home from a movie? Boy, you are busy. Yeah, what did you see? I don't even know what movies are out there. It has been so long since I've paid attention to much of anything outside of YouTube and I don't know. Rabbit says, I've always respected the religion I was raised in, but yes, there were experiences that drove me away associated with being disassociated and such. Yeah. 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 I get that. I've always had respect for where I was raised to. I still do. But, you know, I also see the culty side of things. Susan says a vampire movie. No theaters here. Really? I guess I hadn't even really thought of that. Susan P says my first was the Eagles. Well, aren't you special getting to go see somebody nice? I'm so jealous. I am. Terribly, terribly jealous. Now I have Buck Owens songs in my head. Yeah, I know. Those outfits, right? Oh my God. Yeah, all SPTV content creators may want to tag ex-Joe witnesses. Yep. Yeah. First love, fond memories, even when your heart was hurt. Yeah, I mean, he kind of hurt my heart a little that first day, but he made up for it. He turned into a really good guy. And I was really not a happy camper when my parents announced that we were moving to Oklahoma, like within the next just few days. And we were moving here because my grandpa was sick and not like deathly sick, but he'd had a little stroke and was having some health issues. And so my dad and my mom talked and they decided that if we were going to do it, that this was a good time to move back to Oklahoma to be around his dad while he was still in fairly good health but was starting to get older. Do you know that man lived like 20 more years, maybe 25? Thank you, Jesus, for giving him every day of those years. I'm not complaining in any way, shape, or form. But I was like, what? But yeah, we moved back here and we put all of our stuff in one of those great big U-Haul trucks. And my dad and my mom and my brother and my sister and me all crammed into the front cab of that. Yeah. Seatbelts were not really a priority, I guess. Right. And, here we came to Oklahoma with my skinny butted brother. He's a little bit young, 4 years younger than me. And he was a toothpick, y'all. And he was sitting on my lap and his butt would put my legs to sleep. And it was almost a blessing when my legs went to sleep because his little bony ass it hurt, it hurt my legs. But he sat there and I had next to nothing to say for that whole trip because I was so mad because I had to leave behind my best friend and my boyfriend, who I'm sure moved on 15 minutes later, if he hadn't already. He was kind of a turd like that, but we didn't have an agreement. So, but anyway, yeah. But it is fond memories. I I remember I wrote a poem about him, and I actually still remember it. And no, I will not recite it because it is embarrassing. I sound like your typical 14-year-old, y'all. So glad I popped in. What a lovely way to spend the middle of the night. An absolute pleasure to virtually meet you all. Isn't it nice? This has been fun. I've really enjoyed this. Like and respond. Amen. Cinderella's Glass Slipper says, hi, all. I'm 58 for a few more months. I was born in Michigan and have lived in Virginia, west of D.C., since fourth grade. Married since 2000, no kids, but we have 5 dog kids. Glad to get to know you all. Well, it is great to meet you too. I've seen you several times, and I just wondered, I'm 57 and I will turn 58 June 7th. So I am right behind you, and I am fine with it. I have never been one of those people that didn't want to age. I really didn't care. I just kind of have always thought that every age has its benefits, and I mean, every age has its drawbacks too. And other than, obviously, the older you get, the less time you have in front of you and the more time you have behind you. But other than that, I'm loving it. I mean, cancer, you know. But I love the age that I'm at. I'm really good with it. And 5 dog kids. Wow, girl. We have 3. We had 4, but my little Savannah died. And then we have grand dogs and brother dog. My dad's little dog, Charlie. He comes down here. He was on one of my lives the other night. He popped in. And so he's here a lot. He usually comes to visit me at least once a day. And then my daughter has a St. Bernard and a Shih Tzu. And they love me. And I love them. They are my grandbabies. And I mean, I absolutely adore them. And then my other daughter, Katie, she has 2 little tiny dogs. One of them is a full sister to my little dog Hollis, which Hollis is probably the one that you've not really seen much of, but he's just a little white um, Maltipoo. He took more after the Maltese, and her little dog Winnie took more after the poodle. But they are, litter mates. They are full brother and sister. And then she's got Luna, who's a teeny tiny little Yorkie, or I think I can't remember if she's some kind of mix, but she's like tiny, like 4 pounds. And I love them too, guys. I just love dogs. And then um, they're precious. They stay with me sometimes when they would go on vacation and everything. I'd watch the dogs while they took the kids on vacation. So I always loved that. Kind of would spoil them, and then they'd go back, and they didn't understand why mommy wouldn't feed them chicken like grandma did. And mommy says because it gave them explosive diarrhea, but they never had that at my house. So is it the chicken or is it the dog food? Maybe it's the dog food. Maybe it's the chicken. I don't know. Kind of the chicken or the egg, right? I don't know. But Megan's got a couple cats too, one of which, Sophie, she's gorgeous. She's one of those like a rag doll or whatever, the big, fluffy, beautiful cat. And she don't come around me very much. But then they have one named Marvin. And he comes around me all the time. He likes me until Veta is around, and then he only has eyes for Veta. But they also have a tortoise and a hedgehog, and we had hedgehogs for years, but one at a time. But I, when my last one passed away, I just said I'm done for a while. But Megan's got one. But Megan and them have a raccoon, y'all, named Fergus. And this is the fattest raccoon I have ever seen in my life. We want to weigh him, but he doesn't want weighed. But we want to weigh him because we just cannot figure out how much we think he weighs because we don't have anything to compare it to. But if you've been on Cricket's show at night, you might have seen pictures of Fergus because she really loves Fergus and she wants to give him marshmallows. So we are some animal lovers. And I have a cat too, Reese. Reese Whiskerspoon. It says, we must, oh yes, do a show. There's a couple of serious topics I've been thinking about, but I'd love to do it just for fun too. Absolutely, we can do both. We can do either or. Email me, let me know what you're kind of wanting to do, and we'll figure out some time that's good for you because I can bend and weave and whatever I have to do most of the time. The only thing is coming up. I mean, I may not be able to do as much because I'm going to have to see how the chemo does. But yes, I would love to interview all of you, or not even really interview, just like have you on my show and sit and do a visit. So, and talk about whatever, serious topics, fun topics, no topics. I don't care. This is what I'm in here for. It's the community. I love it. Yeah, I know. I'm kind of worried about that too, that I'm going to vomit those pills up and that the treatment doesn't get in my system. I worry about it too. I guess that first week, that'll be very telling if I take those. And that's what she said. She said that we were going to see how I tolerated it. I forgot about that. See how I tolerate the first week and then go to her and we'll make a decision. So she may end up putting me in there for that instead of. Yes, what an interesting way to see the country. Wouldn't that be awesome? I love a good road trip, so I can just imagine. Oh my goodness, you're so lovely. Well, not really, y'all. Did you see the picture on the thumbnail, or the toenail as I called it earlier? On my last live, I called it a toenail. Y'all, open mouth and there's no telling what falls out. But that is what you see on the reel, I live, if I'm home, I've probably got on pajamas. If I have on makeup, it's because I have just done a live. Yes, I like Crocs. No, I don't have any boobs. I do have fake ones that I can put in. But that on the thumbnail, that picture of me is what you see is what you get, Susie, which is what I have on now too. It says that's a terrible idea. And then down here it says, what time? And down there, I saw it and then it went away. Oh, right there. Down below the what time is a little spot where I dropped a bite of my tater tot casserole that I made for dinner. So now I got a spot treat my shirt. Because I'm telling you, apparently I have a hole in my lip or something because I put stuff in my mouth and somehow it always falls out. It falls off the fork or something. Yes, it is awesome to have all that love around me. It really is. It really is. Oh, you used to take fencing lessons? That's awesome. I can't imagine. Boy, that'd be good exercise. Wow. See, we've got all kinds of stuff we need to talk about because I've never taken lessons. I never, of any kind, really. I can't think of anything that I've taken. I would love to have property and my kids close by. My heart broke when they moved to Georgia. You're a lucky grandma and Gigi. Glad you have them close. Yes, I am so lucky. My youngest daughter, that now lives just to the east of me, when she and her husband got married, he was in the Army stationed in Alaska. Yeah. They came home and got married, and then they went back to Alaska. Oh, and I waited a few weeks, and then he was supposed to be on some kind of a training thing for like a couple of weeks, and she was going to be all alone in Alaska while he was on this training thing. So she was like, "Can y'all come here, please? I don't want, I don't want you to have to use all your vacation to come here, but come here," kind of deal. And so we did, and of course I had some people because I had the newspaper then, and of course, and I did the newspaper from Alaska. Um, put it all together. I didn't get to do like interviews and stuff, but I had people that worked for me, and they did that part, and I just put it together. But anyway, so I had people, that were writing me saying, "Leave those honeymooners alone. You can't even stay away from your daughter for this long. She just got married." And I'm like, "Excuse me, it was them that asked me to come here, you know." But I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So I can imagine. I mean, she lived in Georgia. Yours lives in Georgia. Mine lived in Alaska for a few years, and then they moved to Kansas. And I thought that was so much better. But then they moved to Oklahoma, and now they live here. So I'm I'm thrilled. I am. I absolutely love it. Those old country singer outfits or something. Do you know that and I was trying to think of that when I was talking about Porter Wagner, and I can't remember who it was, but some of the singers that were on the Grand Ole Opry back in the 50s and 60s. I mean, with all that elaborate stuff. My great grandma and a couple of my other relatives, but my great grandma made a bunch of those outfits for them. Like she got paid to make them outfits. So I come from a long line of seamstresses. I am not a seamstress. I'm not as good. I can sew. And, you know, I've never messed anything up, but I've never attempted something that I didn't know I could do. Whereas my mother made all of my very beautiful, elaborate prom dresses and everything, any kind of dress, like that kind of stuff. She made a lot of my clothes, and everybody thought we were rich because I had so many fancy, nice clothes. And it was like, my mom made them. And then back in the day, I mean, this was in the early 80s, um, right after we moved here, when I got over being heartbroken that I had to leave my true love in California. I did, date a guy here that I, to this day, I adore him. He has passed away not too long ago, and it broke my heart. But anyway, I dated him. And back in the 80s, it was like this, or at least here in Oklahoma, y'all. So don't hold that against me if it's like, oh my God, every other place in the world is like, mm. But back then it was kind of this thing where you'd wear like matching shirts or whatever. And so my mom would make me these whole outfits. I mean, they were cute, like tops and like skirts, or we used to call them like gauchos, and I don't know. But she'd make me all these outfits, and then she'd make him a shirt out of the same fabric, or at least something very matchy, and maybe put a little, something of the material from mine on his shirt or something. But usually it just flat out matched it. It was like the same material, or, had the same material on it, something. Because when we broke up, I thought, hey, teach you to cheat on me, you little turd. Because he did. I forgave him. But anyway, I thought, teach you to cheat on me, you little turd. Now you got to go get a whole other or whole new wardrobe, because you'd probably be terrified of showing up in the same outfit as me. Can you imagine? He's dating, which he ended up marrying my best friend, which was fine. I mean, we weren't best friends at the time, but we became best friends later. And, but can you imagine if they'd been out on a date and I was on a date with my now ex-husband and we had on the same outfit? I can only just imagine. Uh, Brooke Elliott says, I'm late. I just want to tell you, I love your channel. Sit back and just listen. I'm a quiet friend and I love you to pieces. Oh, thank you. Gosh. My email address is up there. Shoot me an email, Brooke, and tell me all about yourself. I want to get to know you. And then that way, whenever I see you, I'll have like little references in my brain. All of y'all do that. There's 20 of you in here right now. If I got 20 emails, I'd be thrilled. And if anybody that comes in on the, the replay crew, if you want to, I want that from you all too. So I don't care. I've got, how many did it say I have now? Hold on. 923 subscribers. If I got 923 emails, I would be ecstatic. They are brothers, okay? We have 2 dogs and a cat. I worked at a bank, was a licensed agent at an insurance company, and was on a management team at Harp's grocery store. I have 3 sisters and 2 brothers. Wow. That is cool. I have 2 brothers and a sister. I have my brother, Brian. He is also a cowboy, just like my dad. Like the real thing, y'all. Not like the little, what we call the dime store cowboys or whatever, the real thing. And we either get along great or don't get along at all. Typical sibling things. But anyway, I grew up with him, and I grew up with my sister. He's 4 years younger than me. I had a sister, and she was almost 6 years younger than me, but she passed away in 96 from the Fin diet. She was on the Fin diet, had been on it for about 6 weeks, took it exactly as prescribed, was doing great, and without any kind of warning, any kind of, warning signs, anything. She felt great, doing great. She had a seizure and died. She had a 2-year-old. So, and then I have a half brother, which they're all halves technically. It's so weird because the ones I grew up with, I forget sometimes that they're my halves because we have the same mother. But my dad, that I talk about all the time, technically my stepdad. And everybody says I'm a daddy's girl, and I am. And I always have been. And I was also a mommy's girl. But I adore my dad and always have and always will. But technically he's my stepdad. And so then I have a brother in Texas that we share the same dad, and he has a different mother. And he's in between. He's like 2 years younger than me, 3 years, 2 or 3 years younger than me, something like that. So anyway, Angel 4967 says, so late to the party. Super Susie, love you. I love you too. I see you in here a lot. Again, send me an email. I want to get to know you guys. Sometimes it's easier to like write it in an email or something, right? Because these little they don't let you say a whole lot, right? But send me an email. I want to get to know you. Absolutely. Susan P. is a Texas girl born and raised. And I will stop now. Oh, now. I was born in San Antonio. So my mom was born in San Antonio, and I'm getting ready once I get through chemo. So in 6 months, about maybe 7. I've already got it planned out. I'm getting another tattoo. I've got several. But I'm getting one on this shoulder. I've got one on this shoulder that is a fairy sitting in a crescent moon, and it has my sister's name on it or below it. But that's for her. She had a fairy that looked a lot like this one, and she had a fairy on her ankle and loved fairies, just loved them. Anything like whimsical, that kind of thing, she loved it. Unicorns and, the whole bit. So anyway, I did that for her. But in about 7 months, I'm getting one on here, and I've already got it. I got what I want, but I'm going to draw it up because I want to draw it myself. And it's going to have a yellow rose because of the yellow rose of Texas, and blue bonnets because of Texas. And it's going to be for my mom. I do have one on my ankle that has a yellow rose on it for my mom and my grandma. And also for my aunt and for me, all of us Texas girls. and it has pearls twisted around the rose because my grandmother's middle name was, well, her name was Vivian Pearl. And I love the name Pearl, and my birthstone is a pearl. So that's kind of, a thing. And it's got some purple and stuff on it. And I'll have to show you guys one of these days. It's darker than I want. Um, it was covering up a tattoo that I thought I had outgrown. And now I kind of wish that I had it back and had this one on the other leg. But I had the cutest little tattoo, y'all. And I don't know why. I just thought I had outgrown it. I thought it was silly. But then I got older and I'm like, it wasn't silly. It was a good part of my life. I spent so much of my life. I loved Tweety Bird. And so I had a Tweety Bird tattoo wearing red cowboy boots and a red cowboy hat. And I loved it. And it was kind of a nod to the whole, cowboy life, the whole life. And I don't know. I had some people that kind of made fun of it and I let them get in my head. And I got rid of it, covered it up with this other one. And I wish I hadn't, because then they would have done this one lighter. But they said to give it a few years and then we'll go back in with some lighter colors here and there and do some highlighting and stuff. We'll see, if it fades through at all or anything. And it hasn't. It's done beautiful. So anyway, that'll be yet another trip to Maui, because I get most of my tattoos in Maui. Just about all of them. I got one on my arm, was done in Arkansas. And the one on my stomach was done here in Oklahoma when it was still illegal. I think everything else was done in Maui. Well, other than the Tweety Bird was done in Texas, down in San Antonio. But it's gone now, and I wish I had it back. Can't take it back. Brooke Elliott says I'm 40. Oh, yeah. Will be 41. I'm 5'10", 24. Okay. I have MS and take meds that make it hard for me to talk and type. I'm divorced and my story is sad and amazing. Oh, I can now pronounce that. Aquasaucen Reservation, New York. I have traveled and I have a dog. Cool. Well, as you can type a little bit, just type me a little bit of information and keep it as a draft or something in your email, and then just type a little more or whatever, or send me a little email and another little email, or do it like this, little bits at a time, whatever you want. Even if we're talking about some other topic, anytime you all want to tell me something about yourself, I don't care what we're talking about. If we're talking about cancer and you want to tell me about your dog, tell me. If we're talking about Scientology and you want to tell me about your grandkids, tell me. Because I'm here. Yes, I want to fight. I want to fight Scientology, but I can do that as a chatter and a lurker. I can build community as a YouTuber. And that's what I want to do more than anything, is build my community of friends. And so while I'm still doing all that other stuff, I can still build friendships. Yes. Getting to know people, isn't that great? Yes. Hi, Susan. I see you everywhere and I love your responses. I do too. I have 2 siblings, and after my widowed father married a widow, I gained 3 more. Gotta love those blended families. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's cool. We're not quite ready for my dad. I don't think we're ever going to be ready for my dad to have a girlfriend, much less remarry. My mom, now I'm telling you, y'all would have loved her, but she was a character. And people would say, like, where did I get this or where did I get that? I'm like looking over at my mom going, her, that woman over there that raised me, that you think is the sweetest woman in the whole wide world, and she is, but she raised me. But anyway, she told my dad straight up when she was, sick and she knew she was dying, that if he got a girlfriend or got remarried, she'd haunt him. And I think she's telling the truth. And he says that sometimes at night he can't sleep because she chews on his ass about stuff that he's done during the day. Now, I don't know if it's my mom, or if it's his conscience. But whatever it is, I'm not arguing with it. I'm not arguing with her. But I think it's great that your widowed father married a widow and you gained three more siblings. That's amazing. I don't want any more siblings. I don't want another mom. I had one stepmom. That was enough. It's a whole other story. One I probably won't tell because it's just not worth it. But uh, Dawn says she has 2 dogs, chihuahuas, 3 guinea pigs, 8 cats, and 4 fish. Wow, that's cool. We used to have guinea pigs. My daughters had them years ago, and it was the funniest memory I have of their guinea pigs was my now ex-husband. He tried to act like he didn't like them, but he's kind of like Mark with cats, But he did, and he would hold them. But I told him that the guinea pigs could sense that he didn't like them. And he told me that I was ridiculous. But one of the guinea pigs pooped on him every time he held it. Not once, not twice, every time. So, yeah, Susan P. Dawn has a zoo. Her and my daughter Megan would get along great. And you'll get a chance to meet Megan because we're going to do a live. We don't know what we're going to talk about. So it might be one of these where we just wing it. But we're going to do a live and you'll get to meet her. And then she's going to have a channel. She's not going to be SPTV. Now she'll probably watch the videos and chat and stuff. And we'll talk about it some, her and I, but she's not as wrapped up in it as I am, although she's getting pretty wrapped up in it because she's starting to know who everybody is because I can mention them. She'll go, oh, yeah, that's this one that this happened to. And, oh, that's the one that did I'm like, mm-hmm. So yesterday, in fact, we were talking about Kelly Copter. And I was saying, I just love Kelly Copter, and I just think that she's the sweetest thing. And she said, oh, she's the one that her parents were going to give her up for adoption, but they didn't want to put her off on another couple because she was suppressant. And I said, and she's like, oh, the evil of that stupid cult. And she just, so yeah, she's getting into it, but she's, and she wants to go with me. We're wanting to plan a trip to Kansas City to protest. And she goes, I can go with you. And I'm like, I know. And so we've been talking about signs and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, you'll have to, when she comes on, you'll get to meet her and you can talk to her about your zoo. Yay, I made a live with Susie. That's because I am really late. I remember seeing Hollis and brother dog Charlie while watching Hollis. Hollis is adorable. You have such a large and lovely family. So happy for you, Susie. Hollis is a mess. And he is, if I'm doing a video, if I'm on my bed doing a video, he's probably laying beside me because he's the executive producer. And if I'm in here, then my cat is generally at my feet. It's dark in here right now, so I can't see her, and she's dark. But she's some kind of a producer of some sort. But now Charlie loves videos, and he would come and visit me every morning when I was going through chemo, and I'd lay there in bed and I would watch videos every morning. And he would come up and he'd lay his head on my shoulder and we would watch videos together. And so that's his thing now. So when he came in the other day and he got his face right up against the screen and everything, that was because he's like, wait a minute, we're on the screen. that's Susie. Wait a minute, that's me. So he's sweet. We are big animal people in this family. We all are. Lori, 57, Alberta, Canada, living common law, work security, 3 grown-up daughters, 4 grandchildren. Well, we're the same age. I want to go to Canada. I've only been there once. I think I was about 2. So I don't remember any of it other than I see pictures. Living common law sounds great to me. No problems there. Working security, you're braver than me. 3 grown-up daughters, 4 grandchildren. Sounds like you got a good life. I'm sure there's, everybody's got issues. I don't have a perfect life, y'all, and I'm not just talking about cancer. We've got a lot of issues that go on in our family sometimes, or just in life. But just so glad. Cricket, I was gonna tell you too. I'm glad that you've made a live, but yes, it is because I am running very late. I'm trying out this new way of just chit chatting through the whole thing. So, I don't know. I like it. It's not something that I'll probably be able to do whenever I'm really trying to keep my facts straight as far as like, reporting on something. But I'm not good at it. I'm hoping I get better, but I'm just going to try to not beat myself up over it for a while. Yes, love ya lady. Chow, she's something. Chow loves you right back. She's so good. Yes, my tater tot casserole was good. Hold on a second. I took a picture of it. It This isn't a very good picture, and it looks a little greasy. I bought good hamburger meat, but for some reason it got a little greasy looking. But it looks worse in this photo than it did. Y'all, you're gonna be able to tell I like cheese. Now, keep in mind, I did just cut a piece out of this, so some of the cheese that was on top melted down into the pan. So it doesn't normally cover the entire dish. It normally is just on the top. Whoops. There is. It's not a very good view. Let's bring it more over there. Yeah. There's my tater tot casserole. This was what I dipped onto my plate. So it was good. I will say that. So, yeah, I'm always amazed at how many stains are on my shirts when I do the washing. I need a bib. Me too. You're making breakfast now, or whatever you call it, first meal you have after you slept until nearly 8 p.m. Oh, wow. I slept till like noon. I slept 18 hours. I don't know if you saw my live from earlier. I had a little just crisis, I guess, and I was going to give up my channel, and I was just, it was a mess. But anyway, I'm not. But I got so upset that I gave myself a migraine and went in and covered my head up with a pillow and went to sleep and woke up 18 hours later. Air dry. It says, oh man, I am late to this party. You'll have to catch up on it on the replay or at 2x speed or something. When there's really nothing, and we're just chit chatting. Just that I wanted to just have a time to get to know some of y'all. And I keep telling everybody, so I keep repeating this, y'all, because people come in and go out and everything. My email address is scrolling across the bottom. Email me and tell me a little bit about yourself. And, if you would be interested in doing a show with me sometime and what that might be about. It doesn't have to be about Scientology. It could be about whatever. I'll talk about anything. So, you know, I can remember going out with coworkers after the night shift and having wings and beer at 8 a.m. Yeah. I can remember coming in from the bar. My ex-husband and I were really, really good friends with a guy that had a band. And so we were constantly going to wherever he was doing gigs at. And I mean, the band's basically the last people to leave. So by the time they get all packed up and everything. So we were with them. His wife was one of my best friends. They're divorced now too. She's still a friend. And but anyway, so yeah, I can remember sitting at some little diner somewhere in the middle of the night eating never breakfast. It was always some kind of something that seemed totally inappropriate but was delicious. Yes, my great grandmother must have been talented. She was, excuse me, very talented. So was my grandmother. So was my mom. I won't say that it skipped me, but I was never as interested in it. I just was never, I never enjoyed it to the extent that they did. So I just never got as good at it as them. I never got as much practice. I did make a lot of stuff. I used to make Barbie clothes even. And those are not easy because they're teeny tiny. You remember your mom doing the same thing for your brother and I? Yeah. Shirts matching dresses was a thing. Yeah. Can you imagine though if we'd have shown up after we broke up and we had on the same thing? I mean, I I'm serious. There is no telling how many clothes he couldn't wear after we broke up. Air dry. Are you from Scotland? I've got family in air dry Scotland. Cool. I live in Winchester, Vermont. Vermont. I can't even talk. Yeah, for a few more weeks, which is considered the hometown of Patsy Cline. They give tours of the house she lived in with her mother, who used to make all of her costumes. That's awesome. Working on that email right now as I'm listening to you. Good. Joel's got to run. May tomorrow be the best day of your life. Absolutely. Night, Joel. Sorry you lost your sister. Fin was removed from the market due to the side effects. Absolutely. I'll tell you what happened. Um, if this wasn't a kick in the teeth. Her, my mom, and myself were all on it. They were on it from the same doctor, and it was actually called Fin. I was on exactly the same thing from a different doctor, but they called it something else. But it was the same thing. Um, she died on April 15th. So every time tax day comes around, I'm just like, I can't even think about taxes because all I can think about is my sister. But anyway, we buried her on April 19th. They wanted to do it on the 18th. That's my brother's birthday. And I said, there is no way in hell you're burying our sister on his birthday. April 19th. We came home from the funeral. And on the evening news, they announced that they were pulling it from the market because they had had so many deaths. That was the first we heard of it. It was the day of her funeral. And then we had people that were saying, well, why did you take it? They talked about how many deaths there were and all this stuff. And I said, yeah, the day we buried her. You know, we didn't know. We did not know until then. And it was on the national news. This isn't because Oklahoma's some little podunk state. No, national news. It broke that they were taking it off the market because of all of the deaths. The day of the funeral, the night of the funeral. Of course, my mom and I both stopped taking it immediately. So Fin was absolutely toxic. So many people experienced neuro side effects. Absolutely. Absolutely. I have family there too. Air dry is a forest preserve in Pennsylvania too. And when I read the town motto of the Scottish of air dry, sorry, was vigilante bus, always watchful. We decided to use it. So cool. As our kennel prefix. I can't pronounce that, what you have. They are sight hounds. Okay. My family is confusing. I have an older brother, older sister that passed, a younger brother. I'm the only adopted one. Parents divorced when I was 3. Dad remarried a lady with 4 kids, the same ages. Wow. You sound like Sterling's family, right? Have y'all ever listened to him explain the whole deal with him and Jenna Miscavige and all that? It's something. About 2 hours away. Yeah. So there are 8 of us. didn't all live together, only 5 left. Then I found my biological family, so I have a half sister. I actually went to school with her, and we had no idea. Closed adoption. Wow. Susie, I love your tattoo, or I love tattoos, Susie. I don't have any. One of my brothers is a tattoo artist in Michigan. He really wants to do my first one whenever I decide to get one. I got my first one, which was the Tweety that I've now got covered up that I regret. Um, we had decided when my sister died, she had tattoos and none of us had them. And we had decided that me, my brother Brian, who lives here in Oklahoma, and my brother Rodney in Texas were all going to go when we were together and get tattoos. And not in not memory tattoos, but get tattoos in memory of her, just because of her kind of deal. And so Brian didn't get his, but Rodney and I went and got tattoos the same night. We were in San Antonio, and I don't think Brian has any yet. So a little wimp, huh? But yeah, my best friend and one of my best friends, I know I like best friend here, my best friend here, but I have, best friends from different parts of my life. But one of my really dear friends is a tattoo artist in Maui, and he does all my tattoos now. So I've got maybe 3 that aren't from him. One of them was done there in his shop. It just wasn't him. I let a guy that worked for him do it. And the one on my ankle that covered up my Tweety that I wish I had back. And he even told me, there's no need to cover that up. It's cute. It's part of your life. Don't cover it up. But I didn't listen. I listened to some other people and covered it up. Yes, I was thinking that too. My sister, George, what a life she's lived. Would love to hear your entire story. See, you need to go on a show with me. Wow. My family, or my husband's people, he's nearly 90% Scottish. I'm much more mixed. Yeah, I'm sorry that you're struggling with MS too, Brooke. Brooke has a little bit of everything in her as far as blood. I am half Belgium. My dad is full Belgium. My biological dad. Duh. But yeah, um, his parents were born in Belgium, and so I have, I'm half Belgium. I also have French and Indian, as in Native American, not India. So, and some Irish and German, little bits of the others, but yeah, let's see anything. But I will answer anything but horribly camera shy, so I wouldn't want to be on a live. It's a pretty crazy story. I got to tell my father he had a child. He never knew. He was 68. Oh my gosh. Girl, write a book, right? Write a book. You'd be shocked. You can self publish if somebody doesn't jump on it and publish it. A lot of people self publish. A lot of people that have great, but Liz Gale, I'm pretty sure self published her book, and it's great. And, she's sold many, many, many. Yes. If you ever post or just write a book, I'm there. Absolutely. Me too. Oh, your husband has used the D word with regard to you getting any ink, waiting to see who takes a dirt nap first. Oh, gosh. My first husband was dead set against the tattoos, dead set against it. And basically, I think it was just because his dad didn't like them. But his dad had a tattoo. But his dad was dead set against anybody getting them, and especially women. And so when I first got mine on my ankle, my husband kept trying to get me to cover it up with my socks. And I said, I don't wear long socks, and I'm not going to start so I can cover up a tattoo that I'm proud of. So sorry, I'm in and out of here trying to help my mom replace her refrigerator. It's really just an ice box now. She has to put in bags of ice to keep anything cold. I have been there. You'll definitely get better at it. Heaven knows I did. And I was terrified when I started. It's all about the chat community, and they're the ones who make the show, really. Absolutely. I've not really even been scared. I was scared to start this one, but I've not been nervous doing it. I'm fine with talking to them, especially if they're doing the talk or, leading the talking. Absolutely. I'm not as good as you. I will probably never be, because you could just bounce back. You and Reese, you can just bounce back and forth. That casserole looks fabulous. I've been making it for years. Chow says, what? We should compare our tater tot casseroles hot dish recipes. Absolutely. I love a good casserole. Yes, in the middle of moving can be very hectic. Cinderella's glass slipper, but checking in with SP2 content is very soothing most of the time. I wasn't too. Between the thing I did earlier and this one, I went and watched Oh No Nora's, where she was viewing Mitch Brisker's live at the live. She was showing his live on hers, and just all the crap that he was saying, I was just getting like, oh my god. No longer than I've been in it, I'm like switching the story around much, Mitch. I've heard different variations of his stories in the short time I've been in it. And, where he would say that he never said there were no children, or that he said there was no babies in Scientology, not children. No, you said children. If you said babies, I would have been like, okay, but you said children. And then the chat, like going off on Nora and talking about how she's so toxic and that she's a troll and she's all this. And I'm like, are y'all listening to yourselves? I mean, ugh. We have limited choices of ingredients here, so I have to be creative when I cook. We need to talk about it. I would love to sit down and talk to you about, the differences in here and there, or in, Canada and there, and the different ways that you cook. And that would be a great show. So please get with me. Uh-oh. 5% battery. I have mine plugged in. When I'm doing a live, I just keep it plugged in. Yeah. She's going to get a memorial tap for her hubby. Wink, wink. Absolutely. Okay, it's pronounced Airdrie. Okay. Yeah. I'm terrible with pronunciations, guys. Oh, gosh. Spilled water on her phone, so turn it off. I know I'm kind of skipping through some of these, but I'm going to have to get off of here. I've got to get in there and deal with my dogs and get some sleep so I can wake up and watch crickets, right? Brooke is a talker, something about the stroke at 33. I don't shut up. I would love to just chat and have tea with you or coffee. Thanks for being amazing. Oh, you're an intelligent, informed journalist. Oh, thank you so much. 3 brothers. One's 10 years older, the other's 8 years older. That one had a massive heart attack out of the blue and passed. I'm so sorry. One younger. Yeah, Nora, addressing Mitch's live. I was like, you go, girl. I was too. I've actually thought about writing a book about my life. My parents divorced when I was about 8 years old, and it's been a roller coaster ever since. My mom's married 4 times. Dad went to prison 3 times. Girl, you need to write a book or come on my show. So, but y'all, I'm going to go. I loved tonight. I absolutely loved tonight. I had so much fun. I had about 20 something people in here, which is not my biggest show, but it's definitely, a good one. And it was a good one to like cut my teeth on this, actual chatting with the chat for the whole thing and not just for a few minutes at the end, right? So I'm going to go rest, and I want you all to have a great day, or whatever it is where you're at. And please come back and see me tomorrow. I go to the doctor tomorrow. I go to the rheumatologist, but I'll be back with some kind of live tomorrow. I've got a couple that I've already kind of gotten the notes all written down for, and just kind of deciding. And I'm kind of waiting on a couple more updates on the one about the murders here in Oklahoma of those moms from Kansas. And I keep, you know, filing away all my updates on it. But anyway, yes, send the email. Let me know what's going on in your life. I want to get to know you guys. Come back after the live and put your information in the comments so that we can go and subscribe to you. Like I said, even if you're not doing content yet, let's get us subscribed and get you a little head start on that. So before you know it, you'll be like me and have over 900. I am still blown away. I am so close to getting monetized that it is just amazing to me. So anyway, oh my God, I've been at this for 2 hours. Oh boy, I'm going to go. And I will see you guys in the chat in other people's feeds, and then back here sometime tomorrow or tomorrow evening. And I love you all. And thank you so much for just being here, and you just make my day or my night. So anyway, I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.